I'm gonna hit go there. Oh, is that too loud? It always seems so
No,
loud to me when I listen to it
it
back.
doesn't sound loud to me. It sounds perfect.
There we go. Let's get the Instagrams up and running. She's thinking about it. And hit go live there. The Working Actor NYC, that's Patrick Richwood.
Benjamin Howes.
You better shimmy. You better shimmy.
I'm shimmying like all those jellicle cats.
Oh, listen, let's get stuck straight into it. Our field report this week is that, of course, the big news is that Cats was, of course, scheduled to run until January of 2027. And they just announced that they are closing 6 months early next August the 8th, which
So
there's a
wrong.
big scandal there, which we can talk about. But you just went to see it.
Went to see it with my friend Alice. I'm just going to preface this by saying I hate Cats. I've never liked that show. I saw the
am right
very
there with you.
first preview.
I was like, if I never have to hear that dun 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 dun,
Oh my
it'll
God.
be fine.
I the music I could take because I think it's, there's a lot of variety, and it was for its time. I mean, I remember when it first came out, the album, I was like, this sounds really exciting.
It is
But the
very much of its time.
material-
I just feel like that music hasn't aged well.
But now it has, because this band has made it sound so dazzlingly vital all over again. And the sound system, I mean, every bit of this show is reimagined. Now it's a ballroom
Well, that's the
competition,
thing. Yeah.
a la Paris is Burning. And so it's all modern, and they got New York accents, and they're all like, the costumes, this dancing, the choreography
Yeah.
blew my fucking mind. I mean, the audience was on their feet at least 8 times that night. And not for real. And when you find yourself standing and you're like, how'd I get here? You know that's the real thing.
Yeah.
But and I wanted to talk about 2 things, because we could talk about why it's closing, because I have a theory, and I think it's bad producing. I don't know if it's bad acting on bad actors in the producing department, or if it's
Bad
just
faith, acting in bad faith. Yeah.
I don't know if it's that, or if it's just they're not good at doing it. But we can talk about that at another time if you want, later. But I wanted to talk about 2 things, because we said we thought we would get into a summer theme, and I said, oh, let's talk about everything that's hot. And like, when did you have you ever had to do anything hot on stage? Did you have to be naked? What's your favorite? And then we were going to expand, but that guy that plays Rum Tum Tug,
Yes.
terrible, that guy is so hot. And everybody in that entire theater wanted him, including Joe Schmo from Idaho, who was like 60 and with his wife and kids.
You could see, they got home and he was like, yeah, I'm not gay, but that dude, he was good looking. He was a good looking dude.
It's okay if it's a cat, right? No. It's worse if it's a cat, actually. That guy was so hot, but why I thought that was amazing was because both the men and the women and the everybody's, all the in-betweens in that show, the whole show is queer. It's all queer. It's a giant parade of sensational pageantry and otherness. And it's like, it really is like astounding tribal queerness happening in front of your eyes, which is what the ballroom scene is. And and so, but here's the thing, I remember saying to Alice, she was like, that guy, my friend, and I was like, yeah, I go, we're so used to seeing theater hot, like musical theater hot, not in plays, but in musicals. It's
musicals,
like, they're hot, like they're sexy, and this guy's like, on any street in any city in the world, this guy's going to be
any situation hot. That dude walks down the street and people look at him. Yeah,
and he's a terrific actor, and he's a terrific singer and interpreter of songs too. So he interpreted the song the way he riffed and the way he sang it, and it was all so different and new. But the whole show was like that. I just thought every single one of those people is at their prime. And you could even say this, that's the case for Andre de Shields, the 7,000-year-old actor playing the 7,000-year-old cat that presides
Truly,
over the whole
truly
thing.
one of our wise elders. Yeah.
He's one of our, yes, he's one of our greats. And he, too, you could say, is in his prime, because there he is
I mean, it
doing his thing,
just being, and just literally just being. I mean, he's
Yes.
just so. Hi there, Dark King. Welcome. This is the Working Actor NYC podcast. We are live, and if you click the link in my link tree where it says "Office Hours in the Green Room," you can see the whole shenanigans over here.
You'll see me.
You'll see Patrick's beautiful face. But yeah, I mean, look, it does seem somewhat scandalous that they announced that Cats was going to run until January of 2027. And then they had a bad week or two, and all of a sudden they can't make the math work. And I'm like, there are people saying it is not a coincidence that this is happening to a show that expresses queer, black, and brown joy, that all of a sudden the math didn't work for that. And it's just one of those really complicated issues to me that I really wish somebody would blow the lid off of, because it is the owners of the theaters who charge the rent for a particular production, and they are also producers of the show. And somehow I want all of that to be exposed so that we can all understand what that math is and how that opinion suddenly changes.
Well, there is a lot to unpack there about, how interesting that this is a show that actually celebrates this thing that's right now in the fabric
It's hit
of
mainstream
American
awareness,
culture. It's a
hit
very
mainstream
taboo.
awareness. Yeah.
Well, it depends on where you are. Like, if you are a right-wing conservative, this is a very hot button to vilify these people. It's a very hot button to say, no, no more of that. We're not having that. We're doing straight white Christian, whatever. And then there's the other aspect, which is purely business, which I think is also at play, or entirely at play. I don't know which it is, which is that that show, more than any show I know of in my 40 years of seeing Broadway shows, has canceled performances because of injuries. It's because they don't have enough swings that they have to cancel a show. Do you know how much money they lose when they cancel a show? Now, that show is making over $1 million a week,
Right.
which is pretty great. That's not uncommon for a Broadway show, but it's great. And yet they're not making their nut. They are losing money because they won't get swings. And it's like, wait, you don't have enough swings? That's
Right.
the reason you are canceling the performance? Really?
I suspect there's more to the story than that. I suspect it's not as simple as that, but
that may be the mechanism with which
that they're using in order to facilitate. They've got another more expensive show coming in that they want to get more buzz from. But it just seems horrifying that they straight so close after winning 3 Tony Awards,
and so good. It's so
and it's so good and so joyful.
Yes,
and it's such a crime that it's such a crime that it didn't win Best Revival, that Ragtime won Best Revival.
I agree.
Because this is more than a revival of Cats. It is a complete reimagining of it. And I'm just...
And the thing that I woke up vibrating from the next morning, because I really was I was like, I just floated home. This is our jam. I mean, this is our jam, like great theater, fresh, alive, really vital, and beautifully expressed. Like, there wasn't a single, even the material itself, which I've always kind of hated, sort of, it's the show completely transcends it.
Yeah.
You don't care. You don't care if that song's a dog in the previous productions, because it works here, because it's like,
It's just such a fresh way of looking at it. So Summer from Dolls of Horror is also sad and mad about this.
Yeah, it's really shocking. And I never thought I would say any production of Cats shouldn't close. But here's the thing I really wanted to express, sort of touch on. What?
Yeah,
What?
yeah, yeah. No, go. I thought I was going to
What?
move on, but we're let's keep going.
Well, just one last thing that you made me think of about, you know, why this conversation is so, um, why it's easy to imagine that there is a, if not a boardroom somewhere making decisions, a zeitgeist effect causing things like this to, like be suppressed. And if that makes sense. And in fact, Ragtime is closing early too. And Ragtime is another show that celebrates interracial,
Mm, mm,
everything.
yep.
Anyway, what I was going to say is at the end of the show, the old wise cat that presides over it all has this song called How Do You Address a Cat or something like that. And it's, I think, always been the dumbest, most monotonous, plodding song in the whole show. It's like, oh God, make it end. It's this whole descriptive thing about now, if you see a cat and you see this kind of cat and that kind of cat and you want to address him, but also know, it's that kind of thing. And it goes on and on. But in this show, this message comes like shooting out of it that was never there before, because here he is having presided over 2 hours of pageantry and, queer tribal splendidness and fierceness. And there they all are, his whole family, chosen family. And the message is, you can address us if you want or not. We're gonna outlive you. We're cats.
Mm,
But if you do address us, you're gonna do it with respect, because anything else is beneath us.
yeah.
And that makes the hair on the back of everybody's neck stand up in the theater, because
All of a sudden,
now
it
now
has
we're talking about
new.
it right now.
Yeah, it's new and
You know what I mean?
fresh, and they've really, yeah. It's such a so surprising, but like we were saying before, it's just fantastical that somebody somewhere a few years ago was sitting there listening to a recording of Cats, thinking, you know what this show needs? This
Yeah.
show needs to be set in the 80s, 90s New York ballroom culture, and then it'll be really good.
Well, I told you I went to
Such
the
a
very first
magical
preview.
feat of imagination.
I went to the very first preview of the original production in 1983, I guess, at the Winter Garden Theater, and the lights went out and they came running up the aisles with these light up lights, and I was like, I'm allergic. Because it was already like, oh no.
Oh, too much.
Anyway, okay. Anyway.
All right. I just love that music.
I do too.
It just makes me happy. So we are talking about it has been so stiflingly hot and ridiculous weather and in New York City, and I believe in other parts around the country too. And it just made me sweat all over again to remember how I performed in 100-degree heat. And so we thought that would be a great little avenue to explore. Is that what inspired you? Do you have memories of the?
Oh, yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. I was trying to think of the worst one. Anybody that does musicals
Yeah.
knows that you're going to spend 2.5 hours covered in sweat and
Yeah.
have to look like you're not, unless you're doing The Outsiders or something like, and I remembered touring with Peter Pan, which is the frothiest, lightest, most whimsical, up in the air show you'll ever see. And really,
Sure.
in reality, it's the hardest stage show I've ever done, I think, because I played Mr. Smee. Mr. Smee always has to be buoyant. He gets kicked, he gets punched, he gets
Right.
tossed, he gets, stepped on. And you're wearing this carpeting fabric as a coat and these pants. Anyway, I remember we went to Wolf Trap in summer, which is this giant outdoor, massive, I don't know, it's 30,000 people or something,
Oh my
theater
God.
in, where is it? I forget, St. Louis, Virginia. And everybody was very concerned about the heat because it was going to be like 110 on the stage or something.
Yeah.
And I came off stage and everybody was like, and this is now like well into our tour. We're like a year into our tour. And
Right.
everybody's like, Patrick, are you all right? The stage was like, how are you doing, Patrick? Because they, I really, I was like, it's exactly the same to me.
Yeah, I'm
I
always at
lose
this
10
temperature.
pounds in every show. Exactly. Everybody was like, oh my God. And I'm like, what's the problem?
Well, you are reminding me because I've done many iterations of the show Beauty and the Beast. I've played Lumiere since 1997, and I love doing that show so much. But it does involve, I mean, obviously one of the things about Beauty and the Beast is the costuming. You have to create these fantastical creatures. It's not like you can do it lightly, you know?
Yeah, right.
And so I have always been wigged and in wax helmets, and my hands are always covered.
It's awful.
There's no unsweaty way to do Beauty and the Beast, right?
That's right. That's right.
And I thought it couldn't get worse until I went to do it at Tuacahn, which is an outdoor amphitheater in the Utah desert.
Oh, yeah, Tuacahn, yeah.
And there we are doing Beauty and the Beast outdoors. And of course, there was the hot spell where it was still over 100 degrees at night in this canyon. And we are outdoors, and for the first time since I'd done the original Australian production in 1997, I had hands, my flame hands actually lit up. In every other production, they've been sort of, lit by batteries or whatever, but these were actual little gas canisters that I would
No.
ignite. Oh yeah. The
Oh my
the original production did it, and they were able to figure out a safe way to do it at Tuacahn as well. And so of course there I am in 100 degrees, just sweat pouring out of every
by
orifice.
basically two roaring fires, right in between two roaring fires.
Going, oh, I am Channing, I am French.
Oh God,
let me chase you.
People, it is such a, you have to be such an athlete. You really have to be such a Olympian to do musicals. Honestly, you do. Even some plays. I mean, it's as the hooker said, it's not the work, honey, it's the stairs.
Yeah.
Backstage, it's always like 4 flights up or down to your dressing room.
The thing is, the air conditioned green room was, of course, way off stage left, and down a set of stairs, and of course, half of the people in costumes couldn't get into it. Like Mrs. Potts, I don't think she had like the leg room to manage the stairs. You know what I mean?
We had a bear in a local bear that would come around in Theater Aspen. I was there for the summer, and on the hottest day, we were there doing Hairspray. On the hottest day, somebody said the bears there was like a tent backstage was like honey wagons instead of actual built dressing rooms. The whole thing is set up every summer and then taken down. And there's a tent green room, and a bear had wandered in there and opened the freezer.
And we're talking like an actual bear, not an elderly male gay guy who has facial hair.
A real bear. This bear came around so much that I named him. I named him Dave from accounting, and and we had raccoons and bears that would show up regularly, and that was like Dave from accounting, and the Hendersons and the in-laws, and he opened the door. He opened the refrigerator door. The stage manager said he was just staring at the cold. Get out, go.
He's like, no, I finally found my cold place. Leave me alone.
Isn't that funny?
Oh, sweet.
I think oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say that production of Beauty and the Beast, of course, they built ice pack vests that we could wear underneath our costumes, so that, and in fact, we did something similar on Shrek. When the Shrek costume had the facility to have cooling. They could swap them out because he's on stage pretty much the whole show.
Yeah,
and that's a big old costume that he
you
wears.
need your core to be cool,
covered, and so that they figure it out, but yeah.
Well, I did a show for the Disney Channel for 2 years called Adventures in Wonderland, and it was it's warm and delicious. Yes,
it certainly is warm and delicious.
And
I like that kind of thing.
Covered in not only prosthetic makeup, which the paint that they use to make that up is like basically like DuPont interior exterior latex paint, but then gloves and everything. But then my whole head was covered with this foam thing, on top of which was fur, and then
Yeah.
my body was this spandex thing with these foam pads over which was stretched this giant sort of jumpsuit of fur, stretchy fur. And then on went the gloves and the thing and the stuff, the banker's vest, everything. So there was not a single spot on my body that could breathe. And that's dangerous. So they put me in under the unitard with the muscles in it. They put me in this vest that was this very fine mesh with these tiny tubes running all the way through it.
Oh, wow.
And they give these to race car drivers. I think they were developed for NASA or something, but they're race car drivers were. And they're like just a vest, and they're tight, and you plug them in, and they are cooled with Freon with them by a machine. So there was this little flap in the back of, and my dresser, we'd do a take, and it was a musical comedy. And I was this rabbit on rollerblades with my ears and teeth and all this prosthetic makeup. My own mother would not have my own mother didn't recognize me. She came on the set in Florida. She was like, I'm looking for my son. Anyway, that was so hot that I would roll over to this thing, and my dresser Bobby would take out the thing, plug me in, and instantly my core would start to cool, and then he'd have a fan, and I'd have Gatorade. And
plug Freon through you, pump Freon through your vest.
You can only do that when no part of your body is exposed to the air, or otherwise you might get hypothermia because it's freezing cold water on your core.
Oh my God!
So if the sweat is meeting the air, you can't do it because that'll give you bad.
Actually freeze you.
Well,
wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, and one time I had the flu, and it was a shoot day, and I couldn't. Like the whole episode revolved around me, and I had to go, and they got me all into this thing, and by the next day I had no flu because I had sweat the entire virus out in one day underneath that suit. I mean, I got out of it, and my dresser rang it out, like literally rang water out of it. It was so.
Oh my God. Girl, Summer's asking if you ever fell out or got sick from the heat in the costume.
Yes, I passed out more than once on the set. The first time I ever passed out, they were like, immediately they removed my rollerblades. I'm like lying on the set like this, and everybody's like, and I woke up, and there's Patty Colombo, our choreographer, darling Patty Colombo, rubbing my foam belly, going, Patrick, come to. And they put my feet right into, they put ice packs on my feet.
Oh,
and pulled my gloves off, and tried to get me some air. And Patty goes, Patrick. I go, Patty, I can't feel that. Right? She said, and the whole set burst out in the laughter. Yes, I definitely, yep, passed out more than once. Oh, the show business.
Oh my gosh. And it's just a thing for me when
wait, hold on. You're hold on. You've got stop motion connection thing happening.
It's looking fine on this end.
Okay. I didn't want you to say anything important. Yeah, you're back.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
you can hear
me.
Might
have been me. Yeah, I can hear you.
So the thing with the costuming in Shrek was that we also had to glue on these, noses. Like I was Papa Bear, so I had this like glue on nose. And of course, once the sweat really starts going, then of course the glue you start to worry about the glue. Am I going to lose my nose in the middle of the scene?
That's another thing in this production of Cats, or really anything that I've seen lately. I don't know how they're holding those wigs on, but they are doing the most extraordinary fast, upside down, all this, and those wigs are on, man. They are on, and they are not going anywhere. And it's like there's big ponytails swinging around, and curly cues.
Oh yeah.
How are they doing that?
You must have had this. You must have had this as well. When it's blisteringly hot, and you have to do like winter acting, like because we did Annie at the con by the fuckers, have to do winter coat shows, and it's just stiflingly hot.
Yes, I've had to do that. But worse than that is when you're doing a Christmas show and Christmas is over and New Year's is over and you're still singing, Christmas carols on stage doing
Fa la la.
eight shows of Fa La La, and it's like you just want to die. And everybody, that everybody that bought those tickets in advance is now wants to die. They're all in the audience like, what did we?
Why did we
thinking?
Why did we think this is a good idea?
So it's so done. On December 20, let's say
it's over.
On January 1st, just to be generous, but not 1 hour after January 1st should anybody be talking about Christmas.
I've done the father in A Christmas Story several times, and there's a big dance number in the middle of Act 1 called A Major Award, because of course the father wins a crossword competition and gets a prize, the leg lamp, and we do this huge production number called A Major Award. It's a huge production number. So of course at the end of that huge production number, I am sweating because I'm already in like a tie and a cardigan, like the inside winter look. And then of course, immediately following the huge production number, there's a scene in the car. So I have to finish the production number, put on a winter coat, a scarf, and a winter hat, and then go into the car scene. It's just like, trying to do winter acting.
The things we do to create that illusion, astounding. You're reminding me of a production of, this is not about heat, but it reminded me of a production of It's a Wonderful Life I did. It's in the musical, it's called A Wonderful Life, I guess because they can't use the real title of the movie, but I think it's a charming musical with a couple of things that need fixing whenever a production is done. You've got to, that production has to sort out some technical, some things in the way it's written that don't quite work. People always have to kind of manage that. But the show is potentially wonderful, and we did a beautiful production of it. At least it was beautiful looking.
Well, you were in it, so of course it was stunningly gorgeous.
Exactly. When I was on stage, it was absolutely mesmerizing. But I played Clarence, the angel that comes down to help the Jimmy Stewart character I get my wings for doing it. And I sing this big song by Sheldon Harnick called Wings, and it's a showstopper. It's the most wonderful. But then at the very end, they're all gathered around. The whole town has come to help him out, and they're all there. And up on the roof comes Clarence. And he stands there, and a shining light shines on him, and these wings go like this behind. And they were like air compressed wings, giant eagle wings that went. And I just went, and the audience just went up for grabs. It was the best feeling in the world.
Of course.
But what they didn't know was that I had to climb up a ladder on this thing and then perch and get like this and be like ready to get up on the thing, like this, so that I could step up. And then somebody was holding me from behind, like holding my feet, because there was nothing to hold on to. And if those wings went too fast, I might go forward or over. And nobody knew that. Nobody knew.
Horrifying. That. Oh my God. Talking about death-defying theater, you reminding me of in the 90s when I still lived in Australia. There was a big musical producer called the Gordon Frost Organization who was contracted to put shows into a brand new 1,600 seat auditorium in Chiang Mai, Thailand.
Ooh.
And they have no history of Western musical theater in Thailand. We rehearsed there, and we did this production of Grease. We were the soft opening of this theater in Thailand that this local, let's say somebody very rich in northern Thailand, drug lord, needed to spend a lot of money. So he built this like 5-star hotel, a 3-star hotel, a shopping mall, a 1,600 seat theater, a black box, all the rest of it. And we were the first production to teach them how to do Western style musical theater in Thailand. And we had one preview of this show, and the auditorium was completely filled with every journalist in Thailand had come to see Western musical style theater being produced in Chiang Mai, Thailand. Now, the problem was that they hadn't 100% finished
construction, did you say?
Yeah, construction. Okay. So it was like mostly finished, but the stairwell that connected the stage to the dressing rooms, the windows had not been installed in there and yet, so they were sort of exposed. And what would happen in this part of Thailand was that they would have these very violent thunderstorms, and which would knock out the electricity, but they had installed generators, so it would be okay.
They have monsoons, right? There's
like
monsoons.
Huge tropical, like violent thunderstorms. And so sure enough, this one and only preview, completely full house. 15 minutes before the show starts, one of these thunderstorms kicks in, and it is the most terrifying thunderstorm experience I've ever had. And what happened was that behind the theater was like a sandy lot, like a parking lot kind of thing, but there was like a fun fair, like a state fair, like a little fair set up there or something. But what happened during this thunderstorm is first it knocked all of the power out, and then it blew all of the sand through these open windows of the stairwell onto the stage. And so the stage was completely covered in sand.
On the first preview.
For the first preview. So they like made an, oh, ladies and gentlemen, we're just going to have to hold for 15 minutes while we, clear the stage.
Oh my God.
Sweep up all the sand and mop the stage and whatever. And, all of the lights went out for a minute while the generator kicked in and all the rest of it. Oh, so that was fine. And so we were all in our costumes already, of course, because by now it's like, places. And we were waiting backstage, waiting to hear the announcement to get on with the show. And this storm got into wind and kicked in again. And not only this time did all of the lights go out and stay out, but one wall of the theater on the other side of the fly rail, they had only finished bricking it that day. All of the bricks fell down, like a literal wall of the theater.
So was the show? Did the show ever go? It was canceled. I mean, obviously that day it didn't go on, but like, did it ever go on?
We were evacuated into the hotel. They were like, just stay in your costumes, just leave. We'll collect mics later on. Like, just go. Just everybody
get out. Oh my God. Wow.
Oh my God. It was
story. I've never heard that.
It was hilarious. They rebuilt the wall the next day, and we opened the following night. Like they did not stop. Like labor was
non-union labor.
Exactly right. Folks. Labor was not an issue, so they had that wall rebuilt.
The pyramids and the,
child, it was astounding and extraordinary. So that was the death-defying theater piece. I mean, the sad part is that those 1,600 people that we had in the audience that night was the only time that those seats were ever filled. We had 40 people in the house from there on.
Oh, don't we? That's a whole different conversation.
It was a whole different conversation.
The stories we could tell when there's more people on the stage than in the audience. No. That's when they should cancel the show. I mean, it's ridiculous. There's two things that I always think this should be just in the rule book. One, if there are more people in the show than in the audience, canceled. When would you like to come back? Okay.
Right.
Two, if you I just forgot the other one. It was what was it? Just went right.
The second rule is that they should only have actors who can actually remember who they are and where they are at all times.
It's Benjamin, right? It's nice to meet. I'm Patrick from Burbank. I've been looking forward to this. I've been looking forward to working with you.
Happy to have you here.
I do have some notes for you at some point, which, based on your previous performances, we'll go over them anytime you like. I'm at your disposal. No, I don't remember what the other one was. Such an obvious common sense one, and now I can't think of what it was. But anyway, it's like, oh, I know what it was. Dress the
Oh,
audience. That means, folks, if you don't know, if it's a small house, send them on down to the front. Go up to the balcony and say,
oh,
"You're welcome to stay here, but we've got lots of seats, and the ushers will help you find a great seat. Come on down, be closer to the performer." Duh. And
yeah,
it's because it only makes a better show. It really only makes a
yeah,
better show. Nobody wants to perform to empty seats. You'd much rather perform to, 200 enthusiastic people in a 500 seat house that are
right.
all there, in a great seat. And I
It's like at
always
the
think, what are they thinking?
it's like at the Oscars where they have those people up the front so that they're very enthusiastic ones who are getting filmed by the cameras all the time.
Yes, exactly. I think it has to do with, I've been told before, because I brought that up before. Oh, well, that'll make the people that paid full price for their good seats feel resentful. And I'm like, who fucking cares? What about, I mean, okay, they're going to feel resentful and they're going to be surrounded by empty seats and get a half as good a show. No,
Right, right.
no, that's the luck of the draw, folks. But anyway.
I often think that but would you do? I don't know. There are some times where I'm uncertain about the production. If they asked me to move into the front row, I'd be a little bit like, I don't know.
Oh, yes, I know.
Do I want to be in the front row? I just, what if I don't like it? Like I kind
My
of like being a little bit anonymous.
My friend and I went to see Something Rotten on Broadway.
Oh,
And I had
love.
friends in the show. Brad Oscar. Who else was in the show that I knew? A couple of people that I knew were in the show that I was anxious to. I love
Yeah,
who I love.
yeah, yeah.
Well, we got seated in the front row. Don't ask me why. And we were on. I guess we got rush tickets or something. And there we were.
Right.
Oh, we won the lottery.
Yeah.
It was my birthday, and we won the lottery. That's what it was. So off we went to the St. James Theater, and we were in the front row, and we were right in front of the camera that faces the conductor so that
Oh,
the
yeah.
actors can all see him on the screen. Well, we were on camera. I just knew we were because there's the camera and there we are. And I said to Michael, my friend, I said, no matter what, we're going to look like we are having the best time at
Yeah.
this show, because I guarantee you my friends are pointing at me in the camera going, there's my friend. And fortunately for us, we loved the show. I mean, what wasn't to love? We adored every bit of it.
Yeah, it's
But
a
even
hilarious show.
still, when you're watching a show and enjoying it, if you're an actor, you tend to be going, "That's funny."
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
You're at work, but we were like, because we knew we were representing, the whole. But
Yeah.
we did love it. But
Yes.
sure enough, went backstage and Brad was like, "We saw you. Look, I pointed. You guys were having so much fun." I was like, "Well, we were. Fortunately for you,
We were. They paid us, but yeah, we
we were
were.
having a really good time."
Just want to do a quick shout out to Brother Brian over on TikTok. If you want to see the full shenanigans, we've got comments and Patrick's face over. Click the link in my link tree that'll bring you over here, where Summer has just commented, I recently saw a Broadway in Chicago show that was sold out in the balcony, but only 15% filled in the orchestra. No seat changes allowed, and it was a weird vibe.
Thank you. That's what it's always going to be, a weird vibe. It's like,
why?
really, and the people in the balcony are like, I mean, I was happy to be in the balcony, but since there are 17, it's kind of like that thing when first class, all the seats in first class are available, and there's somebody that is stuck in the middle, even though they didn't buy, and they won't move them to they're between two morbidly obese people, and they can't, and they're like, sorry, sir, but we can't move you to this empty. It's first class.
Okay, so during the pandemic, only Australians were allowed to fly to Australia. This is during lockdown. And I flew to Australia on this, Delta jet. I had paid for premium economy, which is a wider seat, a more comfortable, slightly better service than economy, but not a lay flat seat, right? And first class was completely empty, and I was one of two people in premium economy, and there were 30 people in coach.
Oh yeah.
And I said to the flight attendant, I just can I not get one of the lie flat beds? You don't have to like give me first class service or anything. I just want one of the lie flat beds because it's, 15 hours from LA to Sydney. And they were like, no, I'm so sorry. We can't do anything. So I went down the back of economy and just stretched out on the 4 seats in the middle. I mean, it
Yeah.
wasn't, I was
I'm
just
sure
like, what
there's a
could it do?
reason. There's a corporate reason, I'm sure. And I have a dear, dear, dear friend. Oh, Andy, who is a flight attendant, a career, he's been a flight attendant for ages, and he's a senior flight attendant. And I'm sure he would be able to say, well, this is the reason why. It's a very good reason why. But nonetheless, I'm sure he would also say, he would also understand it. It's like, yeah, but it sure does feel weird. It seems wrong. It feels wrong somehow, like I don't need it to be me, but somebody ought to be that needs it. Let's say there's actually, it did happen that way one time when my mother was very, very ill and she was going home to California for her final days to be, she wanted to be back. She wanted to be at my dad's house, and my dad wanted her to come to his house. They were long divorced. But like I've said many times, their divorce saved their marriage. So she was going back to California with my sister and my sister's niece, and all hell broke loose. It was just a cascading downward spiral in her cancer, like just almost from the moment they got on the plane. And it was really bad. And so my niece is 3, and she's, it's a whole thing with her because, of course. And then my mom kept having to, and it was really, my poor sister. And none of it was kind of seen. They didn't see it coming. And finally, the flight attendant said, we'd like to move you both up to first class with your daughter because obviously you need to be near a bathroom. Obviously that we're going to call they called an ambulance to come and get her when they landed and everything like that. And she did make it to my dad's, and she did die. And my dad's house was surrounded by us, which was, so beautiful. But I say that because it's like, well, sometimes there is occasion they can see past, what's on paper.
Yeah.
And I certainly know my friend Andy's like that. If he might not be able to break the rules, but if he can and he sees that it's human, something for the betterment of as a human, and he's able to, he probably would because you're a human being. But I guess it depends on the how strict the regulations are and stuff like that.
We've strayed off course a little bit, but it sure has been entertaining.
I've been so entertained by this. I was just going to ask you one last thing about in the theme of hot. Do you think we have time?
I'm also Brother Brian. Hi, Silas 91. Thanks for being here. Tell me what you got.
Well, I was just thinking, is there any time you've had to do like something hot, sexy in a movie or a TV show or on stage? And it's like, I don't know about you, but for me as a character guy, I'm like, oh God, what's this going to be like? And I played those kinds of roles where the character guy got the girl, or you know what I mean? Something like that.
Only self-imposed. I was strangled to death during sex by a sex robot during an episode of The Blacklist. And I had one line, choke me a little, I like it. And of course she strangled me to death. So I can share that audition tape. I had to be very creative. How do you do that in an audition?
Yeah, exactly.
I got very creative, but I booked that role. Ambassador Dan Warren. You can IMDb that one.
I want to see that.
The Blacklist. Me getting strangled to death during sex on the Blacklist.
My Aunt Winnie and Alex are my Aunt Winnie and Alex are. Our friend Alex are probably really enjoying this conversation right about now. Welcome to the awkward world of acting. I had to do a scene once in underwear, and I was like, oh, okay. It's this sleazy guy, and he was trying to come on to this girl, and he was a sleazo, art dealer or something, a painter, and a subsidiary character, always drunk. And I thought they're going to give me like silk boxers and like a, smoking jacket. They gave me these teeny tiny little briefs, and they were like, here you go. And I was like, I don't. And the director was like, no, the sleazier the better. And I really had to be like, Patrick, this is one of those times where you have to pretend you're someone else,
Oh,
just
wow.
pretend you're
Just
someone
out of
else
body
and
it.
like be
Yeah.
overconfident and over like, look at me, look at this.
Lothario, your inner Lothario. I
Well,
love
because
it.
the guy wasn't, but he thought he was, which made him skeezy. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
my specialty. Mistaken skeeziness. We're here all week, folks.
We hope you've had a good time with us here on the Working Actor NYC. Check out theworkingactornyc.com for more information about all of the programs that we offer. But we hope you'll be back here in 2 weeks' time for another live podcast.
Tell
with
your
Patrick
friends.
Richwood. Yeah, come on in. It's been fun
like
having
us.
so many comments. It does make me incredibly happy. You can comment right here on whichever platform you happen to be looking at. Send us a DM. Let us know what you're working on in your acting career.
And also come and hear our stories, because together we're older than a redwood forest.
And slightly more flexible. Well, one of us is.
Well, we're fireproof, whereas they're not. So we've weathered the ages. We've weathered the ages better.
We'll be back here in 2 weeks. We'll see you then.
Bye.